Once upon a time in the mighty kingdom of Vijayanagar, ruled by the wise and powerful Krishna Deva Raya, there was a special army, the Horse Army. Known for its strength and unmatched cavalry, this army was a crucial part of the kingdom's defense. But what about the horses when there were no battles to fight? One of the king's ministers came up with a clever idea to keep the horses in good condition during peaceful times. He proposed that each house be given a well and a certain amount of money to care for the horses. The horses would be well fed and maintained, even in times of peace. Soon, the king himself ordered that every soldier and minister should take part in this scheme. Among those assigned, a horse was none other than the clever and witty Tenali Raman. But Tenali, in his usual playful way, decided to do things a little differently. Instead of giving the horse ample space to roam or building a proper stable, Tenali confined his horse to a tiny shed. He set up a small trough, just big enough to put a bit of grass. But the problem was, there was no real grass. The horse had to nibble through a tiny hole, and the small amount of grass didn't provide enough nourishment. Slowly, the horse began to show signs of neglect. Its skin became saggy, its bones protruded, and it became visibly weak. Meanwhile, Tenali, taking full advantage of the funds provided for the horse's care, used the money to buy luxurious food for himself. He was enjoying the royal generosity, but his horse, not so much. One day, the king decided to inspect the horses of his ministers and soldiers. He ordered that all horses be brought to the palace so he could assess how well they had been cared for. As the horses paraded before the king, he was delighted to see how healthy and strong they all looked. But when the king asked Tenali about his horse, he noticed something was amiss. "Tenali, why didn't you bring your horse?" asked the king. Tenali, ever the quick thinker, replied, "Oh, my horse is very rude, your majesty. It's so wild, I could not control it, and feared it would cause trouble here." The king, trusting Tenali's words, instructed that the commander of the cavalry, a wise old man with a long beard, go to Tenali's home and bring the horse to the palace. The commander, eager to do his duty, arrived at Tenali's stable. He peered through the small hole to see the horse, and to his shock, the horse mistook his long beard for food. It grabbed the beard and pulled it tightly, refusing to let go. No matter how hard the commander tried, he couldn't free his beard from the horse's grasp. Word quickly spread to the king about the unusual situation. Realizing that Tenali's story might be true, the king was furious and rushed to Tenali's house. When he arrived, he saw the commander's beard firmly stuck in the horse's mouth. The king, now seething with anger, turned to Tenali and demanded an explanation. Tenali, with a mischievous smile, calmly replied, "Even in this weak state, the horse is biting the cavalry chief's beard. If it were well fed, the chief would have been in great trouble." Hearing this, the king couldn't help but laugh, and he forgave Tenali Raman. The king realized that dishonesty and deceit will eventually be exposed. Also, he apologized to Tenali for being fooled about trusting appearances.